The views and opinions of the guest do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of BODS Mayhem Radio Network, its staff, affiliates, or sponsors. Parental discretion is advised. Welcome to BODS Mayhem Radio Network.
This is Craig Eubanks, vocalist of Solidify, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Hey, this is David Riggs, drummer for Solidify, and you're listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour, your source for all hard rock, heavy metal, new metal, alternative, punk, horror punk, hardcore, rock, and all local bands, with your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather.
Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, a.k.a. the Bodfather, and as always, I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews. Today it is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Craig Eubanks. He is the vocalist, and Mr. David Riggs, he is the drummer of the band Solidify. Solidify is from Fort Smith, Arkansas, and the band was formed in 2014. Solidify has a debut single called Insomnia that's out right now, and plus their debut EP entitled Reform will be out sometime this year, possibly early 2019, but we're going to be getting into all that and talking about that. So, Craig, how's it going, my man?
Pretty good, boss.
As I said earlier, I just want to say the Insomnia single, I really like this, and I like that you guys have added a sweet guitar solo in this, because I think a lot of bands are going away from that, and that's pretty sad if you ask me.
Absolutely.
But I like this, what you guys done with this song.
I appreciate it a lot, man. That's you know, I kind of grew up more on 90s music, and so the grunge rock scene was really more of my thing growing up, and it heavily influenced me a lot. But one of the things I really missed from the grunge era was the guitar solos that the 80s really had. And, man, in the 80s, the musicianship was just incredible. But as you transition to the 90s, you know, music was more given back to the common guy, the guy that doesn't really necessarily have the flashy solos or whatever. It was more about the feeling, the emotions, the music itself. And I really like being able to blend that with the talent we have in our band, and to be able to not only capture those raw feelings and everything, but to also give it that flourish, that musicianship, that feel through all the solos and stuff like that. I'm really blessed with a good group of guys that can make that happen.
How long did it take you guys to discover your sound that you were happy with, or are you still wanting to push outside that box of your comfort zone?
It's actually still a work in progress. We've as you said, we really started around 2014, but we weren't quite Solidified back then. A lot of changes have happened. I was on guitar back then. We had a different vocalist. Our bassist was actually on the drums. And so we've been through this transition of trying to find the right group of guys with the same kind of vision and the same drive and motivation. And once we found the group of guys that really share that, now we're finally meshing well. Now we're finding our sound in the garage, and you know, we'll each bring our different tastes, different touches to the table, and we're just trying to unify it as we go. And Insomnia was actually one of the first ones of this sound to really come from us, because until then, I'd written all the music, all the lyrics, all the songs were Craig Eubanks, and that's not at all what I want to show. My guys are vastly more talented than I am, and I really want to bring everybody to the front like this. And so Insomnia was our first kind of collaboration. John Starks, our guitarist, wrote the music on it. I put the lyrics on it, and, you know, we kind of came together to flesh out all the rest of it. And it's pretty successful so far, and, you know, it's been well received. And now going forward from this, the songs that we're writing together in the garage out of a jam session or an idea or things like that. And so some of them have, like Insomnia has more of that kind of new age rock, almost an emo-ish kind of vibe to it, and it's a lighter, airier song. But we've got others, like we've got a single out called Reunion, and in that one it's a bit more of a downer. It's more of a slow, atmospheric backing track kind of song. We've got others that we plan to release sometime this year, and they have a little bit of industrial influence, and so we're not really trying to box ourselves in too much. But at the same time, we want to find a cohesive sound that we're all agreeing on.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, because a lot of bands, once they kind of get into that emo slow stuff, that's what they get stuck on.
Right.
And I'm sure that you guys don't want to do that. You want to have like a roller coaster of songs, of course.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you go see a band's live set, if the first 4 or 5 songs end up kind of sounding the same, man, I tune out. I start thinking about other things, other bands I've seen. I still focus on the stage performance itself, which is a great thing for a lot of bands. But as far as the songs themselves, I really kind of lose myself. And to really have a good set, you look at bands like, for me, the Foo Fighters. They put on a roller coaster of a show. I mean, they've got the highs, the lows, the slows. I mean, the Pretender starts out at that real slow pace and then builds into that rocking track. And then you've got the more mellow kind of Everlong. And then it's just, as you're watching the show, it's almost like watching a classical movement where they're manipulating your feelings and your thoughts throughout the whole process, the ups, the downs, the some are deep, some are shallow, some just let you bang your head, and we're trying to, no, not trying to, it's fairly easy for us to be able to reach into each other's preferences on music and pull out different aspects of it because we're all so heavily influenced by different bands. And so it does. It lets us dip into the emo, dip into the industrial, dip into just the raw rock and roll sometimes. And I think it's given our stage show and our full set a really good variance in there that people walk away knowing individual songs. So I think that's a really healthy thing for us.
I'm glad you mentioned the Foo Fighters for an example because Everlong, take that one for example. I've seen that song done in so many ways, slow, fast, acoustic.
Yes.
I mean, it's just a roller coaster of many different songs into one. Absolutely.
There's so many different spins they put on it, and that's what's cool is that they've written a song that they can have that freedom with, that it's even that one song is not locked into a specific genre. That's good songwriting, man.
David, what's your thoughts on this, man? I don't want to leave you out on here.
Well, for us, the songwriting process has been going really well because, like Craig said, each one of us individually have so many influences to draw off of that are different from each other, but we don't try to force our own taste on the music as a whole, if that kind of makes sense. Like, when we start just jamming around, we pick and choose some of the better ideas of what we're doing and put it together to fit whatever works best with the song. And some ideas get kind of scrapped, but we're like, hey, you know what? That might work out better for a song down the road. But for this one in particular, let's do something different with it.
When you guys were creating Insomnia, the lead single off this, what was it about this song for you guys to say, this is going to be the lead single? Or what was it about creating it when you guys selected this song to be one of the singles? What was it that set this song apart for the rest of them?
Again, for me, it was the first song that I did not write by myself. It was the first song that really captured the essence of who else was in the band. It's again, John wrote the music for it and everything, but when he brought it to the garage, we began to change things here, cut out a phrase, modify a few of the measures here and there. The drum beat changed a bit, which then in turn changed his guitar. My having put lyrics on it had forced his guitar to calm down a bit in the chorus. He did have this absolutely beautiful piece that he played during the chorus, but it just clashed with the vocals a bit, and so that was thrown out. Steven got his bass lined out on it and synced up with the drums, and that elongated a few of the strums here and there to give it a more full, more atmospheric feel about it. And to me, it was our first song that we did as a band. Brought it to the garage. Everybody gets a say in it, and that's what I've been wanting this whole time, is to really showcase the group of people that I'm in love with, through the music that we write. And so we finally scratched up enough change to record with, and we took it to multiple recording studios. Finally, we found our guy. He's in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or just outside of it, and he does incredible work for us at Simpson Studios. And once we locked in with him, we heard kind of his influence on it as well. And so not only is it our band, it's the producer that we've chosen to work with too. And it's, to me, just an amalgamation of all the different people. You can feel all their different touch on it. And it was just the perfect choice for me to really showcase what Solidify has to offer.
Well, I mean, Insomnia is like Craig said, instead of, like the chords and the arrangement and everything just coming solely from Craig, it was just an amalgamation of everybody's take on it. And it was also the first one that was produced by Kyle Simpson of Simpson Studios. So it was just, I don't know, the golden child of Solidify songs, and it's been working really well for us. It's a great song, and we all really like it.
What's impressed you guys the most about making this debut EP Reform? What's caught your eye about, if anything, guys, possibly?
For me, we've gone to a few conferences and things, like in Nashville or wherever we can, just trying to absorb as much as the business aspect of it as we can. And what we're learning right now is that dropping a full album as your first piece of work is not necessarily in your best interest a lot of times, unless you've got some serious backing behind you. So instead, we've chosen to focus on singles and really push those and show people what we got. But at the same time, we don't have a lot of content out there. So we're kind of hybridizing the business model of the way it works today, where you really want streams on Spotify and things like that to get known and to be compensated for your work and stuff so that you can continue to produce things. There's that part of the business aspect, but at the same time, there's the more old school. People want EPs at shows. They want albums. They want to take a piece of you home with them that they can pop in their CD player and listen to. So what we've chosen to do is our first two, Insomnia and Reunion, we've chosen to release those as singles. And now we want to go ahead and drop the rest of our Reform EP probably this year. I'm not really supposed to say that, but we're going to go ahead and drop it this year. And that way it'll fill out our portfolio a bit better, give something for people to take home from us. And so the larger issue is we have more than just these two songs already recorded. We've got songs on the back burner right now, but what we're trying to do is make it similar to what a live set from us would be like. In the live set, you've got a certain order that you put your songs in based on kind of how you want to tug at the audience, how you want them to experience your show, your set. And so it's been a challenge figuring out what order to release the songs in, if nothing else. And it's been a lot of fun, and I'm really surprised that we're all in agreement on all of these things, on both the business model, the approach to it, which songs to release. I mean, we're all on board. We're all in agreement with it, and that, to me, that's a blessing. I mean, there's no apprehension when all of your guys are with you on it.
For me, releasing the singles like one at a time up to this point, we really want to show people that our songs are different. Like, when we're going to release something, it's not going to be more of the same. Like, you're going to get a different feel and a different tone from every song that we have. That way you don't just have, I don't know, just a bunch of stuff that's kind of the same song, maybe just with some different chords and different words. So we've got Insomnia, we've got Reunion, and then the plan after that is to go ahead and do like a 4 or 5 song EP that's got 3 other songs on it that are completely different from those songs, but still Solidify.
How was working with producer Kyle Simpson and Simpson Studios in Broken Arrow, Oklahoma on Insomnia? Is that correct, guys? You worked with him on this, is that right?
Yes, sir. On Insomnia, it was our first time to work with Kyle on Insomnia. So we came in expecting a lot of the same from what we had from other producers we had worked with. And I don't want to name any names or anything like that, not important. But we walked into Kyle's studio, and it's in a little addition to his home. It has almost a kind of bedroom garage or bedroom recording studio feel to it. And so when I walked in, I was thinking, okay, this is maybe going to be a little bit different than what we're used to. And so I didn't have the highest hopes. And within 10 minutes of talking with him about his processes and everything, man, my confidence was already sky high. Just the way his mind works musically, the way he approaches things is so far different from anybody else that we've worked with up to this point that I knew that already that he would be able to do so much for us than even we could do for ourselves, or more than just recording what our vision was. He would be able to put a spin on it that would help it be more relatable, more marketable, and just overall better than what we even already envisioned. And David actually wasn't with us at the time of Insomnia. So we had our previous drummer with us on that track, and Kyle Simpson actually did quite a bit of work for the drums himself to kind of show us. You know, we had double bass riding through the whole bridge before the chorus, and he was like, I get it. You guys can do double bass. Very cool. Let me show you how to play to the song, though. And so he would coach us along, and I got into the vocal booth, and I sang a few lines, and he immediately shut me off, and he goes, stop right there. I'm gonna pick you apart here. You're a singer. Your job is to sing. Things need to come out of your mouth for that. Open your mouth up, pronounce, project, and sing. And man, I walked out of that studio that day twice the singer I was when I walked in. That seems like a gross exaggeration, but through all the tips, he pushed me notes so far above what I thought my range was. All the harmonies and everything in that song, those are also me. I'm naturally a low baritone. So for him to push me into those notes is astounding to me. But we did it over and over and over. I think I took the longest out of all of us, I'm embarrassed to say. But he completely changed the intro to the song, added this cool, like, this tension-building kind of growing effect there to the beginning of it, a nice little drum thing, and then this muted distortion chugging on the guitar with the drums coming in to just bring you right into the song. And man, it completely changed how I felt about the whole song just from what he did in that one part. But Kyle is phenomenal at his work. I mean, he's like a technomancer behind the keys, man. And that song wouldn't be what it is without him, for sure.
It's amazing how you can work with somebody in like 10 minutes when you walk into a room when you're going to work with somebody. You just know. You get that feeling. You just know.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's exactly what it gave us. I mean, I've got all the confidence in the world in him now. I wanna absolutely do as much work as we can with him.
So do you guys just want to keep putting out EPs, or eventually do you want to put out a full length, possibly?
Full album for sure. The EP just kind of gives us something to hand out as we go on shows and try to promote ourselves a little better. We do plan on having, like, a full 8, 10, however many song album, though. It's just a matter of focusing on the EP first and seeing how that goes, and then put you full force into an album and try to promote that.
So for the both of you, what do you hope the fans take away from this EP once it's released? What do you hope that they hear while listening to it, or just your guys' music in general?
I hope that people really hear something different. Like when I listen to the radio, which I honestly don't even do that much anymore, just because everything that comes out nowadays, just it only seems like there's only a few bands really doing something different, and everyone else is maybe, I don't know, trying to copy paste and the stuff that's already been proven to work, and it's just more of the same. So I really hope people hear us and they're like, wow, this is new, this is different, it's exciting, it's relatable, it has great music and great lyrics. I'm a big fan of like good lyrics and songs. I try to pay attention to what the song is about, and I think we have that. So I hope people enjoy it as much as we do. We're really putting our heart and soul into it.
For me, when I was growing up, when I would be kind of having hard times with dealing with just life, there were certain songs that would hit me in certain ways, and not necessarily songs. When I'm mad, it's a mad song. When I'm sad, it's a sad song. When I'm a chick dumps me because, I can't grow hair, then, it's a song about a breakup. It's not like that at all. It's more about when I'm down and there's that song that's just really inspirational. It's that transcendentalism that you can succeed. You can, take what's right in front of you and make it into something even greater. I love that message. I love overcoming messages. I love transcendentalism. And I really want to capture some of that. I want to breed some of that in the people that may not have it in their generation. The feelings from the 90s, I want to modernize it. I want to expand on it. I want to evolve it. I want it to grow. I want to show them what can be done with just what you have. Because I'm nobody, man. I came from nothing, and I am nothing. But if I can get together with this group of guys that nobody knows, and we can make something great, then what kind of message can we put out with it? It's about the message for me. It's, I want people to come talk to me. I love to meet people as we travel everybody's unique. There's a different story. In the song Reunion that we have out, there's a line that says, all I see becomes a part of me. And that's so true to me. The people that you meet, you take away a new experience from them. They change who you are on some small level, or sometimes a great level. And you carry these people with you around wherever you go. And I want to spread it. I want to be able to unify all the things that I've seen, all the people that I've met, the conversations that I've had. I want to unify this and help spread all the experiences that I've had, and foster a love for humanity, man. I mean, I don't want to get too ridiculous and too peace and love and chicken grease and all that, but for real, I love humanity as art almost, and I just want to showcase what humanity is to me, and I really want to breed that within other people, and I really hope that they can catch that from our music. I hope that the messages that I'm putting out through my lyrics aren't lost, and at the same time, I hope that they never get bored with what we're doing as a band. You know, whether we're picking each other's noses in masks on a bus, or Burt Reynolds posing a Darth Maul mask, David Riggs, or listening to hip hop. You know, it's whatever we're doing. I don't want to bore anybody. I want us all to have fun, man. I mean, for real, this is the greatest job I can imagine in entertainment. Any job in the entertainment industry can be this. So I want to make it exactly that.
And I want to go back and talk a little bit about what David had said. And I'm not knocking any band out there whatsoever.
No.
I just want to clarify this and say that he's correct when he says that there's a lot of music that sounds the same out there right now. And I see it every single day where I do this.
I'm sure.
And I'm like him. There's some days I want to turn the radio on and listen to some music, and then there's just some days I don't, because it's like, well, I just heard that song 5 seconds ago, or I heard that song, 15 minutes ago. Well, wait, didn't I just hear this like yesterday? It just never seems to, I don't know. There's a few bands that are out there that's really going outside their box with every song that they're putting out, an album, but I don't know, it's like bands are scared. You should never feel like that you should be boxed in. Well, this is the style we've got to play. It's your fucking music. It's your band. Play what you want.
To kind of add on to that, like what you said, that bands are scared. I think there's a lot of truth to that. It's a little scary to try to make it in the industry, quote unquote, by having your own original music and whatever. That people might be afraid that it's not radio friendly enough, or it's too different from the stuff that is currently popular on like rock radio and whatever. And so they change themselves to try to be more like what's popular, instead of taking the risk that maybe their own originality may or may not go anywhere. So I don't know, sometimes like the greatest bands are the ones that sound totally unlike everyone else. Like System of a Down, I think is a really good example. Like
Smashing Pumpkins.
Yeah, like there's the list can go on and on. Like
Yep.
You hear one of their songs and it's completely distinct from everything else. And some of them are just like zany as all can be.
Sure.
Again, using like System of a Down as an example. Like their songs are just so off the wall sometimes, but they're awesome and people love them, and they're like a super band. And so as scary as it can be to like put your hopes and dreams into rock stardom, sometimes you just gotta go with your gut and do something a little different just by being yourself.
How much growth musically, guys, have you seen this band go through up to the start of recording of this EP for you guys, especially getting the singles out?
An immense amount. This is where I've got to be careful to not sound egotistical or whatever here, but so I'm going to start with when Insomnia was brought to the band by John, because again, that's when we became Solidify instead of Craig Eubanks, in my opinion. So at the time, David wasn't yet with us. Ashton, our other guitarist, was not yet with us. And I still needed tons of work on vocals. I'm a guitarist first, but because of necessity, I decided to start trying my hand at vocals for this band. We've all undergone a significant amount of change as a band on the whole. John's always been fantastic, and Steven has actually only been playing bass for just maybe 2 years so far. So, but he's a quick study man. Anything the guy puts his mind to, he's got it. So we've seen his talents on bass develop rapidly as we've been playing. John has found a way to put his voice into the band more. He's very, very quiet by nature. and he kind of makes himself known quite a bit more, gives more input in things. I've changed my diet, changed my lifestyle a bit, added vocal lessons into the mix to become a better vocalist. We had Insomnia, like I said, recorded already. The day before we shot the video, we went ahead and brought David Briggs in on the drums. And to date, that is the largest change to our sound, period, that we've had. The fan interaction increased drastically. We started getting compliments about our... I still get compliments about our drummer, David, at every single show I go to. And just the way he approaches the songs completely changed what we were and molded Solidify into what it is today. Bringing Ashton Ponder in on guitar alongside John, he's got a completely different style. John is beautiful, melodic. John has some of the best licks, man. Just entrance you with his playing style. Whereas Ashton is quick, technical, shreddy, behind the back solos, and just crazy stuff here and there. So it gives us that kind of edge that we were looking for as well. And so just since we've recorded Insomnia, over half the band has changed. Half of the rest of the band has improved drastically, I feel like. But the biggest change that I've seen so far is on stage. You can hear our recordings, and that's about what we sound like, but it's not indicative of what our live show is. We approach it very seriously. It's a performance. You are an entertainer when you're on the stage, and we don't just get up there and play the songs, because this is where I'm going to call out other bands. I went to see Stained back in 2004 when they came to Louisiana and played, and I've never been more disappointed in my life in a band. I was listening to Break the Cycle, and I was all excited, and they came out, and Aaron Lewis, third song in, pulls out a chair, plays the outside, and never really got back up from that chair. Seven Dust opened that show and tore it apart. Seven Dust's energy on stage, how humble LaJohn was throughout the whole performance, it was mind-boggling. And it was, even back then, I wasn't in a band, didn't care about bands. I had no plans to play music in front of people. I was a bedroom guitarist. But even back then, I took note of that and said, you know what? That's where it's at. That's what it is to give a performance. That's what I paid this money for. And we brought that into what we do now. The stage show is where it's at, and we've come leaps and bounds in the past year or so, just in the stage show alone.
What about you, David? How much growth musically have you seen yourself go through since joining Solidify on this?
It's literally night and day. This is actually the first rock band I've ever been in. I've been playing since I was 13, but I'm 27 now, so you can do the math on that. I've had the dream to perform and play and be in like an amazing rock band ever since I was a young teenager. And man, I've just been really lazy and afraid to put myself out there, because I was afraid, maybe I wasn't as good as I thought I was. And it took me 10 years to finally make it into this band, and now I can really express myself on the drums the way I've wanted to ever since I was 13 years old. So like all the ideas and dreams that I've had building up for over a decade, I finally get to like live them out on stage. And I have a ton of room to grow just by myself. It's my dream to be a world-class drummer, and I am so far away from that. So this band has been immensely helpful just to help me become a better musician. And I've noticed in all of us, if you'd seen us a month ago compared to last night, it's already 3 times better, and we're just getting better every day. So
yeah, it's constant improvement.
So what can fans expect at a show from Solidify who have not got to see you guys live as of yet?
Energy.
Yeah, for sure. We start off the show, man. David is behind the kit and gives a nice solo performance, probably for the first 5 minutes of the set. And we could call that, shorten down an intro, and then actually add in another song to the set. But it's about the show. It's not about getting up there and just chain gunning songs as quickly as you can, man. So we started off. I want to showcase who David is, what he does for us, and we just give him the reins, and he surprises us a lot of times. I'm not on stage. And during most of our intros, I like to sit in the crowd and watch David with everybody else because, dude, it's absolutely monstrous what he does. And again, I'm not trying to toot my band's horn. As a musician, watching David do his thing does not get boring to me. Even I see it show after show. And he likes that air of mystery, even against us. He won't tell us what his tracks are going to be, won't tell us what the intro is like. He just says, man, you'll have to see. And says, so to anybody in our audience, you'll just have to see. Come see it. See what David does to start the show off, and then, man, through the rest of the show, high energy, raw, solid rock performance, and just a ride, man, a classical performance, so to speak, of highs and lows and depth, and it's everywhere, and not in a chaotic fashion either. We hone it, we pay attention to it. We'll stretch some songs out, bring the crowd in, help us sing. We'll throw in some crazy covers. Dude, we do Britney Spears in our set. Like, wow. We're not afraid of anything, man. We want to have fun. I'm rocking the 2007 Britney haircut anyway, so why not, John?
Okay.
She straight shaved her head in 07, so you just have to hear it, man.
I want to jump back here just for a little bit, and I'm sorry, guys and gals, I'm all over the place here, but this is a great interview, and we're just all over the place, and I like this. But you guys mentioned Seven Dust. That band has been off the charts, and what I mean by that is they have been absolutely phenomenal putting on a show. When you watch a band and you want to know how to put on a show, watch those guys live. They will show you how to do a show, and you are 1,000% right. No matter if you meet LeJean or any of those guys out at a show or on the phone when I've done interviews with them, they're the same fucking guy. So humble to this day to be doing what they're doing.
Yes. Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because Seven Dust actually happens to be my #1 favorite band of all time, and I absolutely love Seven Dust to death. Morgan Rose is my biggest influence on like rock drumming. Like, I just love watching him. I love hearing him. He's incredible. He's just like perfect on everything he does, and I love LeJean's voice. And I personally have the biggest man crush on Clint Lowry ever.
So, don't blame you.
So, man, I love Seven Dust. I actually have some really funny Seven Dust stories. If I could tell you just one.
Sure.
I've seen them twice, and the first time I saw them, they came to Fayetteville, Arkansas. And if you bought the album, you could go back and meet them real quick in a line, get them to sign your stuff. And so I was stoked, and I was completely broke, and I convinced my friend to buy the album for me so that I could go back there. And we go in line, and I'm meeting the guys, and I'm just starstruck. Like, I'm like stuttering and stuff like that. They probably thought I was the biggest weirdo ever. And I get to LeJean, and he's like, "Hey, man, what's your name?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm David, sir." And he says, "Cool, David. What do you do?" And that took me by surprise. I was like, I don't know. I play drums, I guess. And I was like, I don't know, 16 or 17 at this time. So I didn't have a job. I didn't know what he meant. And he's like, cool. What else do you do? And I just looked at him and I said, nothing. and he was like, far out, man. And then they kicked me out of the line because I was holding up the line too long.
So you had your you had your moment of like Ralphie on A Christmas Story. Oh, Red Ryder BB gun. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That was my have a nice football, moment.
Yeah.
It was really embarrassing. I hope maybe someday I can meet him again and try to redeem myself. But it's not looking so good right now. I don't think I still have a better answer for him. I don't know. I'm still working on it, man.
That's awesome, though. And you never forget those moments, man. Those right there is why I absolutely love bands who take time to meet their fans, because to me, that's well worth the money spent to have 5-10 minutes with those guys.
Yeah. I was afraid to meet them because I wasn't sure. I loved them so much, and their music meant so much to me that I was afraid, like, what if I find out one of them's kind of a douche or something? But each one of them was incredibly nice. They gave it a mind-blowing performance, and they were sweaty and tired, but they were still making the time. And it was like a 2-hour-long line. Like, every single person in the venue went to go meet him, and they took the time to really personally try to connect to each and every one of us who went to see him. So I take a lot of influence from that. Like, don't just blow people off.
There you go.
At a show or something. Like, Because, I mean, on one thing, who am I? I'm a nobody, so I don't have the right to, you know, pretend to be a rock star and blow anyone off. But you never know, like, what your music means to somebody.
Yes.
And, yeah, we're all people at the end of the day. Like, let's talk about it, you know. Like, what do you think about this? How do you feel about this? You know, I was really grateful that they took the time to, you know, ask me that kind of question. I feel bad I didn't have a better answer for him. But the fact that he even asked me, like, you know, who am I? You know, what do I do? What do I stand for? You know, it was so surprising to come from someone I idolized so much that I didn't know what to say. You know, so I take influence from that moment.
I've always said if I was ever to become a huge musician and have the fans and people to like our music, I don't care how many fans are at that show. I want to meet and shake everybody's hand that's there. Because without those folks, I wouldn't be able to do what I wanted to do, and my bandmates wouldn't be able to do what they wanted to do and do this as well. So they mean more to me than some PR fucker standing there going, no, we don't have time. Fuck yeah, we got time. You may not have time, but I've got the time. So that's my thoughts on that.
Oh, that's, to me, man, it means so much to me when someone messages me on Facebook or whatever and tells me, hey, you know, a friend of mine's going through this. I shared your song with her, and you are helping her through this moment. Or you know, I was kind of down today, and I popped this song in, and it really kind of lifted my spirits. Dude, there's nothing like that. That is so cool to me.
Yep.
Message me. Tell me that stuff. If it means something to you, that's motivation. And like I said earlier, I love meeting people because it enriches me. I mean, I'll go at it at a very selfish angle. I'm not afraid to be honest about it. Meeting y'all, you, the fans, the people that help push us, the PR people, meeting my bandmates has enriched me beyond imagining. But every person I meet enriches my life. And that's not just a PR statement. That's not just some BS. I am dead serious. Everything matters. It all changes you. And it's a pleasure to be able to be at a venue and for them to pull you aside for 2 minutes of their time. I mean, I know I just performed and everything, but their time is precious as well. They could very well leave the venue right then. Maybe they're hungry. Maybe they want to go get some Taco Bell or whatever. They're spending 2 minutes of their time to tell me that it meant something to them. Time is the one currency you'll never get back.
Right.
So for them to spend their time on me, dude, that humbles me, really. That's a privilege.
We're living in the digital era, guys, of recording albums to get music out quicker and plus social media to reach out to more fans. Do you like this? Especially the social media way to help people to hear more about Solidify, to get out there more, especially for up-and-coming bands. Do you like this that we're in right now or no?
I guess it has its pros and cons. Like, one thing, you can reach a wider audience because, like, everybody's got social media now. But on the downside, like, everybody has social media now. So, like, sometimes your stuff can get a little buried in the feed, honestly. Like, and I kind of feel like we live in a viral age, like, where something's real hot for a day, and then the next day everyone's already moved on to the next thing. But so far for us, it's been really positive, and I've seen that it's been really positive for other bands, like way bigger than us, to move over and do more social media stuff. There's a band called Mammal, and they're from Australia, and I follow them on Facebook, and I actually really love the posts they do. They're really funny, and just all the places they go. I keep up with them more than some other bands because, I don't know, they just have a really cool social media presence, and they're really funny and interesting, and I think they've really nailed the head on how to work the PR for social media for bands.
Necrogoblicon done the same thing with their mascot, John Goblicon. I mean, it's absolutely hilarious on what he does. If you know the band that I'm talking about, they're absolutely hilarious, man. If you get a chance, check it out on Facebook Facebook, and you can check it out on YouTube. The videos of John Goblicon doing a show called Right Now. It's absolutely hilarious, and it's just it's great. I mean, you know, you've got a mascot who's out on stage with you, and then he does his own show on YouTube, talking to bands and talk shit about bands and brings the bands on the show, and
that's pretty awesome.
It's pretty funny because he's just like, you just got to watch. I'm not going to spoil anything for you guys. You just got to check it out. So.
All right, we'll do.
So how much support locally does Solidify get? Do you get a lot of support locally, or do you seem like you have to travel out further just to get a show?
Here's the deal on that. Our stomping grounds are in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and our favorite venue to play there is the Sound Room. Here's where the problem comes in. We are situated perfectly between a casino in Roland, Oklahoma, and a casino in Pensacola, Oklahoma. Each of these are constantly putting on, like, I don't know, a free show by Dawkins or Stain or Aaron Lewis, Motley Crue, or well, Vince Neil from Motley Crue. Man, they've always got something. They've had Joan Jett recently. I mean, just a lot of really big shows, the Gen X tour, and for a lot of these shows, it's completely free admission. So playing in Fort Smith, Arkansas means competing against that, first of all. Secondly, I feel like there's been a lot of oversaturations of the same music over and over in the area, and so it's a little bit difficult to draw out a good crowd in Fort Smith. So if you can draw 100, 150 people in Fort Smith, dude, you're doing fantastic. So, or at least that's what I'm seeing from the locals that I'm aware of. And that's kind of about where we're at a lot of times. Maybe a little bit less than that. About 100 on average is what we can do here. But when we go out of town, especially to Tulsa, Oklahoma, we do well there. We've been doing really well up in Springfield, Missouri lately. We go out there and just the messages, the friend requests, the people wanting to connect to you, the people talking to you after the shows. It's a great response on new markets out of town where we've been going. So we've gotten to where we really only play our hometown maybe once every 2 months or so. And we're transitioned fully into a regional band now, and so we're wanting to spread it out like that. And so far, it seems like the response is at least as good as our hometown when we go out.
So for the both of you, what made you want to become a musician? What was that spark that said, yeah, that's what I want to do? Especially Craig, what got you out of that bedroom to want to be an actual guitarist and not a bedroom guitarist?
Man, it was at first my bassist, Steven, wanted to play some music and didn't really know how to play music. He loves music. He's got a good head for it, but he just didn't know how to play a thing. And so we were doing karaoke about once a month and with some friends. And I was like, man, there's a lot of money being spent on beer, and we could just go to your garage, bring out some instruments with that same amount of money, and we could really put something together and just have some fun. And then Steven had to get all serious on it and start booking shows. And I was like, oh, crap, I'm in a band. I've just suddenly realized I am in a band. And after that, I mean, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So it started off where I was just playing guitar in the back, and I was perfectly content with that. But when I transitioned into vocalist or frontman of this band, and then eventually even put the guitar down to where now all I do is sing, my focus keeps getting tighter and tighter, and my determination gets higher. And as the band does better, and I hear that, people are liking what we do, the motivation gets there. So before I ramble at an hour at you in backstories, let's just say I finally feel like I'm making use of all the hours spent from. I started playing music when I was 7. I got my first guitar when I was 13. So I've been playing music, on guitar, I've been playing for about 20 years. And I really feel like this is what it was about. This is what it's for. I feel like this is my calling in life. I'm supposed to do this. Whether I make it to big time or not, this is at least what I am supposed to do. And so for me, this is just, it's who I am at the very core of my being, I feel like. Because I'm otherwise naturally a pretty boring person, to be honest with you. I like physics, mathematics, and music. And music's the one that's fun to me. So, it's the only thing I've really got, man, other than my family, So it's just natural for me.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird story. I'm one of 3 children. I'm the youngest of 3, and my brother was like the star athlete of his school. So he was like the athletic guy, right? My sister was really good at academics, and she was like the bookwormy academic person. And then me, I was just kind of not good at sports, not good at school. I played video games, and I wasn't even good at those. So I had like
He was a knockoff.
13 years old. Yeah, I was 13 years old, and I had like nothing going on in my life, and my parents were kind of mad at me because I was perfectly content with just like being nothing, you know. And they forced me to try a bunch of different hobbies to see if I like really connected with something and wanted to actually, you know, be passionate about something. And man, we tried all kinds of stuff from chess to actually fencing. I did sword fencing for a little bit, and I did all kinds of stuff, and nothing. It was cool, but nothing really stood out to me. And I was driving around with my mom one day, and this song came on the radio, and I was kind of like bobbing my head to it. And then she got the idea, like, hey, do you like music? I was like, yeah, I guess so. You know, I guess I like music. And she's like, well, why don't you play an instrument? And I was like, I don't know, what instrument would I play? And she started tossing out, like, how about piano? How about guitar? How about this? How about that? And I was like, nah, none of that stuff really stands out to me. And then I was listening to the song, and it was some kind of, like, 90s, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was like a 90s techno song that was popular on the radio at the time. And I was like, man, what's that thing making the beat? That, like, doots, doots, doots. She's like, that's drums. And I was like, I kind of like that. It makes me want to dance, and I can't dance, but maybe I could learn how to, you know, make that sound. And she took me to Bruce Fowler, who is an amazing drummer from this area, and he just started playing the drums, and I was in love with just the sound and the feel of them. I didn't even know what drums were, to be honest. Like, even if I had seen them, I didn't really care what they were. I didn't know what a snare, a kick, cymbals. I didn't know anything about them. And I sat on the stool, and I picked up the sticks, and I had no idea what to do. But by the end of the day, he taught me how to do a basic 4/4 on the drums, and I was able to keep time on it. It took me a while to figure it out, but I was able to do it, and I was able to groove with it. And I was like, wow, this is exactly what I was looking for. And it was like destiny, honestly. Like, it's my thing. It's what I live for now.
Poor David couldn't play games. Couldn't do nothing. He was a knockoff child. You know, his mom and dad looking at each other going, you know, his mom and dad are looking at each other going, what the fuck were we thinking that night? What the hell happened to you? You know?
I was not playing, actually. I was a bonus baby. Bonus?
Roll the dice.
But I mean, look at me now. I'm doing something. I'm trying to anyway.
That's the night we rolled the dice, honey. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. That's good. Oh, okay. Enough of making fun of David. All right, so.
Fine. I'm very accustomed to it.
Now, you guys have had some spins with this Insomnia track, especially the Valley 97 FM in Canberry, Australia, guys.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
So, Stephen calls me up. It's like 3 a.m. and we enforce a rule that really we want to have complete radio silence from like 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. Like, don't disturb each other between those hours, because on the rare occasion that you can get sleep, please don't take that away. Yeah. And so he calls me up at 3 a.m. I'm laying in bed. It wakes my wife up, and she's like, somebody better be dead. And I'm like, no, don't be like that. So, you know, I pick up the phone, and it's Steven, and I was like, oh, good, it's not going to be anybody I care about. So that's no big deal. And, yeah, so he's like, hey, man, you know, I wouldn't call if it's not important. I was like, yeah, what do we got? And he's like, so, you know, we got a station in Australia wanting to know if it's cool if they play our track. And I'm like, okay, like the country of Australia. He's like, yeah, wake up, Australia, radio station, Solidify. And I'm like, why do you call? Why don't you just tell them yes? Like, don't ever, yes, absolutely. Are they trying to take the song, or they just want to play it? He's like, no, they just want to play it. I'm like, yes, every day. Like the country? He's like, Craig, Australia, the Australia with the dingoes. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I couldn't go back to sleep, man. I didn't sleep until work the next morning. And in fact, I made a post about it again the other day. Like, Isaac Banks Radio of Australia, they're still supporting what we're doing, man. And it was not only was it our first time being played outside the U.S., dude, it was our first time on FM radio outside of like a homegrown section. And so it was just mind-boggling, especially at the time, man. I got to be honest, I didn't really think I was going to be successful in this path. I was just doing it because, you know, it's what I feel like I should be doing. I mean, not just out of obligation, but I mean, like, it's how I want to live my life. And then all of a sudden, somebody else is interested. Somebody else has found it and wants to play it. And I was like, all right, I don't know what Isaac drinks, but when we go to Australia, I'm going to load him down with it, like a year's supply of it. Like, this is awesome to me. And, man, I was just completely stoked that anybody else cared about what we were doing, dude.
When is this out? This EP going to be coming out, guys? It's going to be later this. Well, it's almost into 2018. Are you shooting for like 2019 or what?
So here's what we got. Steven kind of handles like our business management aspect and PR and all that. I'm kind of dumb. I just write the songs, play where I'm supposed to play, and go with it. But Steven's not in the room right now, so we're totally planning on a secret kind of Christmas drop the EP without really letting anybody know kind of gift kind of thing.
Okay.
And don't tell him I told you. But yeah, that's the plan, and I suck at keeping secrets, Sean. So, but yeah, we're wanting to drop it to go ahead. And there are some festivals coming next year, man. And I don't want somebody to go to Reverb Nation and see just one or two songs or Spotify, and the only thing that we have to offer them is Insomnia and Reunion, because we're more than just that. You know, I want to throw a couple more out there quick so that they can really get a feel of what they're in for when they bring us onto a festival, or when they bring us to their town, or, you know, if they missed our show when we came to our town or to their town, they can at least catch a piece of us through that. And so I want to get this EP out by the end of this year and really give people a taste of us, of who we are. Because really, to me, this year is the first year that we've had where, you know, during this year we picked up David Riggs and Ashton Ponder. We are now solidified. Like this is, well, I mean, we are who we are now. As generic as that sounds, it's actually really big to me. So I want to go ahead and get that out there and give something for people to look forward to next year.
How can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy some merchandise, keep in touch with you guys for tour dates, things like that? How can you do that, guys?
So far, the most efficient way to get in contact with us is through Facebook. You can look up facebook.com/solidifybandok. We're planning on getting maybe a little bit better, but for right now, just Solidify Band OK. I hope to be awesome soon, but find us there, message us. Man, feel free to go to the About section, find a band member, and message us individually. Every one of us likes to talk to people. We're not all as loudmouthed as I am, but me and Steven you'll be sorry you messaged us in about an hour. But you can find us there, and we keep our show schedule very much updated on there. We like to post a few months in advance a lot of times. You can find links to our singles and stuff on Spotify, YouTube. And if you're looking for our music, pretty much anywhere you want to find music, YouTube, Amazon, Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, wherever you get your music, we're very likely to be there. In fact, I haven't heard of a place we're not sold yet, except maybe Walmart, but, well, you know, whatever. But we're also trying to get a little bit better about keeping up with our Twitter, our Instagram, you know, posting content exclusively. So if you're wanting to see everything from us, go ahead and follow us on all three: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can check out our Reverb Nation page. You know, we're pretty much anywhere you want to be on social media, we're there being idiots. So come on with it. Come message us. Feel free to create a post, whatever you want to do. Interact with us. We're all really humble people. I mean, it's hard to say that we're humble people when we're really not worth a dime, but, you know, we're easy to talk to. How about that?
Before I let you guys go, would one of you or both of you care to do a promo for the show?
Oh, John, I'd love to, man. This is Craig Eubanks, vocalist of Solidify, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
This is David Riggs of Solidify, and you're listening to The Bodfather.
All right, everybody, stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and BODS Mayhem Radio Network. Thank you guys so much. This has been an awesome interview.
John, I've loved it, man. Thanks so much for your time, dude.